I still can see, slowly through the foggy eye, staring at the deadly skies. I fall and tears run dry. Heart and soul missing you, wondering if I can get through, losing things along the way. My timing and the engine make me think the race just can't be me.
Edward from ERviewer.com. I have another video for you. This is the next in my series of interviews that I will continue on. This is a breadcrumb trail. I'm just letting it lead me where I need to go. I'm having the best time, most fascinating time doing these interviews with these amazing people. I'm interviewing artists, creative people who, and I'm exploring with them their creative process. I'm interested in the creative process, where ideas come from, where inspiration comes from, environments that people create to inspire their creativity, to bring ideas and notions and visions and everything along those lines, things that are coming up from above the threshold of awareness, from the deep, deep mind, the creative core, as Ingo Swann termed it, where something is ignited, and it makes its way through the deep mind, and then to and through the threshold of awareness, and comes into awareness, and then the individual is inspired by this creative feeling and this creative impulse, and then goes through the process of bringing that into the world. Hopefully they do. We're all better off when creative impulses actually come through and become manifest. The entire world is better off for that. And it made me think of an experience that I had and a conversation that I had a couple of years ago. I was under the influence of a specific plant medicine. We'll leave it at that. And I was in a state of agony. I was suffering immensely. I was extremely physically uncomfortable. I was in a state of agony, and I was suffering in my mind. And my friend Dustin Newcomb was there, and I confided in him how terrible I was feeling, and I asked him point blank. I said, Dustin, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer me in complete honesty. Complete honesty. Are we here just to suffer? Is our purpose for being just to suffer? And that's what I was in. I was in a state of pure suffering. And he thought about it for a second or two, and he said, no. He said, we are here to create. We are creative beings. We create things, not just suffering. We're creators, is what he said. And he was so right. He was so right about that. That's what I'm interested in, the creative process of who we are as beings. We have this immense gift. We have this immense genius below the threshold of our awareness, where we have the ability to create, think creatively, create ideas. Things come through us. We're channels, we're vessels of creativity. And I'm interested in that, and I want to explore that with people who are working with that as well. I express it in my remote viewing work. That's my creative expression, my artistic expression. I call it abstract perceptualism, where I allow for that something to move through me, and for what I call pure curiosity to be triggered within my own deep mind, and make its way through the threshold of my awareness, and it comes out in a reflection of a location in time and space. That's what I'm interested in, how I express myself. I'm interested also in other people. Other people inspire me. I get inspired by people creative people and what they do and how they think and how they're expressing their creativity. Deano Jones is who I speak with in this interview, and Deano really was inspirational for me. He's a musician, he's an improv comedian, he's a beekeeper. He lives on the Crown Fox farm with Sarah King, who I interviewed in the previous video. There are a couple 20 acres that they have there, and the entire space is they've created it to ignite their inspirational creative energy, and it gives them room to bring it into the world. That's amazing. It's just amazing. I get to talk to Deano about how he makes music, about his work with improv comedy, which really surprised. I didn't know he did that. I was really surprised, and I was so curious to really go into that and explore why he would do that, why go into that, and the reason why that I got out of that, and you'll see it all in the interview, is that when you bring yourself into a place where you force yourself to be creative, you put yourself into the fear, you put yourself into a situation where the fear could easily overcome, and you could run off of the stage and say, I'm too afraid, I can't do that. Or you can face the fear and change it and not allow it to close up the creative spigot, but move beyond the fear and allow for that tsunami of creative energy to flow through. That's what Deano Jones has done. He has faced the fear and overcome it, and has allowed for many channels for his creativity, not just the improv comedy, but music, and his work with making furniture, and his work with the beeswax. They're beekeepers. They literally have saved a huge colony of bees, and they have them living on their farm. And he uses the beeswax. He makes products, lip balms, Deano's beeswax, which is amazing product. There's nothing in here but beeswax and whatever else he puts in. This one is the peppermint steel beard balm. It has beeswax, coconut oil, peppermint oil, jojoba oil, and vitamin E. That's it. All natural, real stuff. Here's his website, deanosbeeswax.com. Handmade. He makes his stuff by hand on their farm. They have 150-year-old pecan trees on this farm, and oh my God, it's incredible. Look at what he makes. Saws the wood, puts it on there. The balm is inside there. It's just as natural as you can get. It's just incredible. Beekeeper shelf he makes here. He makes all this cool stuff. All this stuff is in the house. This stuff is amazing. Crown Fox Farm, where he does it, where they have the bees, where they make all these products, and allow these bees to thrive on this farm. Look at all these flowers, all of these bees. They just, it's so amazing. Save the bees. I'm gonna get a couple of these shirts, one for me and one for my wife. That's what he does with the beeswax. He's a musician. Here's some of his bands: the Mock Tigers, Austin punk band that he was in. Clowns of Progress, an old punk band he was with when he lived in New York. He also has a couple of solo CDs here. And I'm going to tell you, I am a musical snob. I'm not going to lie. I'm not proud of it, but I am. When I listen to new music, that band has 15 seconds before they're going to lose it with me, before I'm switching off the thing. I just, it either has it or it doesn't. And I'm sorry, but I'm a musical snob. This is one of Deano's solo CDs here, Rise of the Cafe Racer. Came out a couple of years ago. I put this in and I listened to this entire CD in one sitting. That's how good it is. I went from, there's 13 tracks on here. I listened to all 13 tracks in one setting. This is like a musical, like a rock opera, where each song leads to the next. It's a story. This was a book he worked on, and he decided to turn it into a CD of music. It is freaking amazing. The lyrics. Here's another one. The Road to San Antone. It's got everything on here. It's some rockabilly, like country, rock and roll, and the lyrics, the way that the songs, he crafts the songs, just pulled me in, man. I just couldn't wait for the next song. I'm serious. I'm a freaking musical snob, and this stuff is that good. I'm gonna have links for all of his music here. ReverbNation.com, Mock Tigers, his punk rock band. Listen to their songs. This one here, The Clowns of Progress. I'll have the links for that too. His improv team, Simply Divine. I'll have the link for that too. We can go for his Facebook, where he does an improv team here in Austin, Texas. And it was just such an amazing interview that I had with him about these things and overcoming fear, facing fear, moving through it, and not allowing it to stop the creative process, which is something so vitally important right now. There's so much, there's like a campaign of fear, fear porn is everywhere, and everybody wants to be hysterical in a state of constant fear. And that just closes up that fire hose of creativity. We have to move beyond the fear. We need to open the floodgates of creativity and allow them to pull through. That's what we talk about here, the creative process. But that's about enough of me. On to the interview. Deano Jones at their property, Crown Fox Farms in East Austin, Texas, talking about the creative process. Edward here from erviewer.com. I am still deep in the heart of Austin, Texas. Deep East Austin, Texas. An amazing piece of property here with Deano Jones. Yeah. Musician, artist, maker of furniture. He built a lot of this amazing place that they have here. They've just created such an amazing space. Deano, you are a musician. I can see these. Tell me about this incredible
You
guitar.
like that one?
That is a stunning guitar. Hopefully it's getting caught on.
That is the first guitar I ever bought.
Amazing.
Actually, I bought it at Mojo Guitar in New York City. It's a 1961 K Red Devil, which that's not really a. I think they were sold in Sears Roebuck or something. It's not really a guitar player's guitar,
Sure, sure.
But the action's like, you need a vice grip, but yeah. It was pretty cool. I think I got that in that little Fender Champ amp for $100.
Wow. So that's what started you.
Well, no, I played music all my life. I was playing music with my father and stuff. But in New York City, when my first band, I decided to quit playing drums and I was going to play guitar.
And you got into the guitar.
Yeah.
And that was the one you bought.
That was the one I bought.
And so what were you playing on that chopper? Probably was
I
it Tie Your
that,
Fingers Up.
And I bought, at the same day, I think I bought an Elvis Presley 100 Elvis hits.
Oh, there you go.
And punk rock songs, I was just,
You got to have Elvis to have punk rock.
Yeah.
You can't have one, they wouldn't be punk rock if it weren't for Elvis.
Maybe not.
And so you were playing punk on this?
I was playing in like a punk rock band, yeah. In New York.
With this guitar?
With that guitar.
Oh, man, you must have sounded like, what's the guy from The Clash?
A little
Joey
bit,
Strummer.
maybe. On a good day, I would have been happy to sound like him. I like The Clash a lot, yeah.
And so you got into music, you must have loved music.
I did. That was the whole thing in New York for me. I wanted to play music. I was going to art school above the city, but going into on the weekends, and after a while, I think one of my teachers told me, my sculpture teacher was like, you should just probably go and live in the city. Because I was like not coming. It was like getting to where I was coming back on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Because you were in the city all the time.
Yeah, we were going down to New York, and I'd always wanted to be there and in
where it was
bands.
happening.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was great. Through the 90s, I was in a band there.
Oh, yeah, that must have been great. when
Yeah.
it was still had that New York feel. And
Yeah, it was pre-Giuliani when I got there, so
yeah, so there was still
Pre-
that kind of gritty realism there.
Right. Well, depending on who you talk to, you know, all the guys older than me were like, "Well, you should have been here in the '80s."
Yeah, or the
That's
'70s.
You know, and now I'm like, you know, I was there in the '90s, so you know, now that's good enough. I guess.
So, do you still write music?
Yeah, I kind of, I haven't written music in about 8 months, 9 months. I just kind of get real
You wait
focused
for
on
inspiration?
something. Exactly. Yeah. I've done a few albums down here. I was in a band for a while, the Mock Tigers, and we did a couple records here in Austin.
What kind of music was it?
I was kind of like it was kind of a punk rock, but very kind of a, I don't know, a new wavy or gothic-y kind of stuff. It was fun. I was playing drums in that, and then I just did a couple solo records, just stuff I wanted to record, kind of.
Were they your original songs?
Yeah. Country rock kind of stuff, I guess.
Tell me about, I'm interested in people who can write songs and write music. How do you do that?
You know, I've been doing it so long that
It comes naturally to you?
it does. I started the first band I was in New York. Well, maybe the second. I was playing drums in this punk rock band. These guys were from like Orange County, and they were a little older. And we got in the studio, and I remember we went through one song one time, and I was like, "Great, can we do that again?" And they're like, "No, we're on to the next song."
And you were like, "No,
man,
I want to do this."
Fuck! And I just realized right then that you just hit it and get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you find out that a lot of times the first take, that's better than the 15th take, anyways.
Because it was more real. Or
it was
captured.
We were just all there,
You
and
captured it.
and yeah, and so I think when it comes to writing, I just write what I want to hear. You know, what I'm feeling, and it works for me. You know, I gave up a long time ago trying to write a hit or a.
You said something very important right there. You made the kind of music that you want to hear.
Yeah.
What kind of music is that?
Well, depending on what I'm doing, you know, it could be anything. I got a buddy who plays pedal steel and is always calling me up and, man, you gotta sing country music. All right, let's record some country songs. And, you know, those Mock Tiger guys were like, they wanted to play punk rock. So, a lot of times I just like playing the acoustic and just kind of, you know, grabbing it in Pro Tools.
Yeah.
Just that with a click, and then fleshing out a song wherever it wants to go. It's I think my music for me has just kind of morphed into not wanting to play in a band so much.
Yeah.
Because then that's, you know, it's like moving furniture. You gotta let your gear. You gotta go to a show. You gotta do this and that.
You deal with other people.
Deal with other people. I can play enough
with.
instruments. I can just, you know, play and have fun and get something going, and then bring people in who are, you know, maybe a guitar player.
That's you want.
Player. Yeah, just and you're making. It's more like you're making a painting at that point than working on it. A live gig is more of it's an athletic.
It's a lot of
thing.
work,
and I like doing that sometimes, but. I got real tired of the commitment of playing every week and you know, loading the gear and
it wasn't really. It sounds like it wasn't really serving the need that you had for it.
Yeah, and maybe that, you know, I just got to where I wanted to play music when I want to play music, which is kind of where, you know, now I want to make furniture. Now I want to build a cabin. That's what I do. That's all I'm doing now is we build a cabin out on this shipping container this summer. It's been fun, super fun.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to wire it. Figured it out. YouTube video.
Yeah.
You know.
So like this place that you have here, you and Sarah, there's just a lot of creativity happening, a lot of inspiration, and a lot of getting inspired or getting a creative idea and then manifesting it or bringing it into the world.
Mm-hmm.
I can really sense that here. I'm really interested in how you create music. Now, when you say you haven't, let's talk about like when you had a really strong inspiration to create, or something came into your mind, and you had a real inspiration to create a certain piece of music or a musical wave hit you. Was there a time when it was like, man, you were overcome with musical expressions that you had to create?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't know if it was a conscious decision. You just get kind of inspired. For me, sometimes I hear a song that I like,
And you're
and
inspired.
and it makes a little song in my mind, like you know, that, or I'll hear a song and it'll be a part of a song I was missing, and I'll just stop everything I'm doing and then try and figure it out. And I don't have a lot of control over it. And that's one thing I've always given myself a break on that. You know, if I don't feel like writing music, I don't write music.
Right.
I wait until I feel like it, and I'm really pumped to do it, and I get up and I'm like, you know, and then I just go on a tangent. You know, I just get up, grab some coffee. I'm like, let's write music today. You know,
let's do it. Your dog wants to make his own music.
He's not that interested. He's heard this story.
He's making his own music down there. It's what you're describing there is amazing, and that's I'm really interested in that part. What you're saying, when the inspiration hits you like a wave or a tsunami, and you're suddenly overwhelmed with the need to bring it into the world. Is it so? It doesn't sound like you have a preference for music. It could be any kind, whatever is hitting your mind at the time.
Yes.
Is there a song that you've written that is your favorite?
No.
Or they're all like your babies? There's no
I've
one
got a few that I'm fond of. I wrote a song for the Mock Tigers, for a guy to sing in the Mock Tigers, Walking in My Sleep, that I've always really liked. It's very kind of a love song, very something I probably wouldn't, you know, when I was writing autobiographically, I think, more when I was younger. Things I thought I couldn't write about because I thought I had to own it. It had to be me, you know.
Sure. So you wrote it for somebody else to sing?
I was writing songs for the band, in that band, and so I would write them with the singer in mind. It was a great. It was kind of a acting thing in a way, and which was ironic because I got into doing improv here a lot after that. Improv was, I mean,
improv comedy.
Improv comedy, and. It was as big of a thing in my life as music. It was so freeing as someone who played in front of audiences my whole life, and I was terrified. I was terrified to get out there and like, I got to know what I'm saying. You know, and it was a great. I would really suggest it to anybody at any point in their life. It's just such a empowering.
To get out there,
to do.
Beyond your fear.
And you make that habit of you start improvising the things that you pick up on a stage, on an improv class or a stage, you start using in life, and it makes you fearless. You're just like
fearless. Exactly.
What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
I fuck this up. It's like with furniture. I'm gonna build a bench. If it sucks, I'll burn it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll put it in the shed, and you know.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know. We, especially as musicians, and I've worked with people like, oh, no. They want to sit and they want to pine over, you know, they want to get so far ahead of okay, what's the song about? What's we doing here? And it's like, sometimes you just got to put a beat. You just got to start rolling with it. You don't really know where it's going to go. You just get a beat and a bass line.
That your creative process has a lot to do with the spontaneity.
Yes.
That's coming
and a lot of it has to do with physical. You got to just put the boots on the ground, start moving. You
move
get up
and
and start
pull it out.
moving in it, and you start doing things on autopilot. You just like, I know how to do this. I know this beat. I'll give it. This is how I'm feeling. I'll put this beat with this guitar part. Boom. All of a sudden, now you're like, well, that kind of sounds like
a song,
a really cool song that I've always liked. And now it doesn't. Now it kind of sounds like my song, you know. So you start going on reflex, you know.
It sounds, since you're hitting on some really, really interesting points here, like fear. And how fear can definitely stifle the creative process.
Yes. Overthinking
and the fear and all that. And it sounds like you've really put yourself into positions like improv. I mean, that's some serious deal. And playing live music where you're just like, you know what, if I'm going to get this thing out, I got to go.
You got to go for it,
out there to where it's like, I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I have to do this.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that is... Is it by doing that? Is it the excitement that pulls something out of you, or is like fires up the neurons, the creative process?
There is something that's really kind of satisfying about you start something and you don't know how it's going to end.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I wrote a book about 5 years ago. It was kind of right at the height of me doing a lot of improv, and I was working a lot, editing video. And I was doing these 80-hour work weeks, and I got done, and I was like, I need something.
What do I do now? Yeah.
And so I started with this story. I wrote an album's worth of songs, and then I kind of forced a storyline out of the songs that I wrote. I was trying to write a rock musical for this theater that I do a lot of stuff in town, and then I realized that I'm going to make a book out of it. I got too many ideas going, and I was literally, I'm writing it all out. I'm just generating characters and storylines and scenarios based on a song that I'd already written, and I just really enjoyed it. I just really enjoyed getting up in the morning and just going, okay, where are we today?
Yeah.
Well, that's here. We got to get to there, because in the next song they're doing this. So let's just push through it. And it was kind of like I would get up and improvise some of these scenes in my, in my house.
Meaning this. That's very interesting what you just said. So what you're saying is that you started moving.
Got to move. Yeah.
It sounds like your creative process has a lot to do with
a lot of sweating,
getting the body moving, and it kind of there's got to be something happening in the brain.
Yeah.
And that is that the movement allows you to have all this creative thinking. So you were like, I have to get to this chapter, and I'm going to start acting it out. I'm going to start very physical.
Yeah.
Very physically pulling out, where somebody may just be sitting there with a pen and do all, but you were actually a lot of movement happening.
Yeah, I've never actually really thought of that until I'm realizing a lot of times I can physically put myself in a situation that I think the mind goes off and something takes over, and you just kind of work through it.
Yes.
And it's a lot of that improv stuff comes out. You're in a place.
Yeah.
You gotta hash it out. You know, whatever your storyline is, whatever you're doing, you just kind of say, well, the clearest path.
Yeah.
Just you find a path.
You find a path.
Clearest path to victory, my guy Merkwood says that a lot.
Absolutely fascinating. That's where the creative genius comes out.
I don't know if it's creative genius,
it is
but
to
creative
me,
survivalist, maybe.
In my opinion, Deano, your genius is coming out, and you're
thanks.
physically moving it out. You're forcing it out of your mind.
Yeah, you got to push. For me, that's what works for me. I've stumbled on it by kind of embracing a lot of different things that I just. A guy told me this when we started doing two-man improv. A good friend of mine, Jason Vines, he just said, you do this stuff, you'll be the fearless improviser that they talk about. Yeah. And you kind of get to that point where you're like, you could hand me a mic and I can introduce the president. I just figure it out,
Right.
You just kind of say, what is the worst thing
What's
that can
the
happen?
worst that can happen?
Nobody's
Absolutely.
going to shoot you, Well, maybe now they would. This plot,
But you let go of the fear, and boom.
and you just do what you do,
it
and
pours out.
I think it also happened. I got to a certain age, and I was just like, I'm not going to be a guitarist virtuoso guy. I used to let that hold me back when I wrote songs. Oh, this isn't going to be good enough. I suck. I'm not, or I'm not going to write this well enough. I'm not doing a harmony well, or whatever it is. I don't know enough chords, and you just get to the point where you're like, I got what I got. I've learned a lot of my basic skills, so now you just operate. The improv freed that up. You just operate on what you got.
Yeah.
Don't try to be. Just be glad about what you got.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
who you are, and what you can do.
Be thankful it's happening.
Just be glad you do know how to play the guitar, even a little bit, or whatever. Hash it out, because there's always somebody better. There's always somebody who wishes they were as good as you were at something. So focus on that. Quit focusing on
what I'm hearing you say, Deano, is that it's very where your creative is very in the moment, very in the moment.
Yeah.
And allowing yourself to it's like you're navigating through the darkness, but you know that the unknown you're not afraid of, and you can move through that and bring some light into the room there.
Right.
You were talking about playing like with your awesome guitars here. When you're playing guitar and using your guitar. Is it mostly by feel? You're trying to get a feeling out. With the sounds and the chords.
Yeah.
I would imagine, because of the type of music that you're telling me, from Elvis to punk rock, there's a big range there. of a lot of different feelings to go into, and I would imagine that whatever you're feeling at the time is probably where you go with the sound of the guitar. But there's something in particular that I'm curious about, because like you were saying, you remember a song, it was a love song that you wrote for the singer of your old band. When you're coming up with guitar sounds, is it that type of emotion that you get out of playing the guitar? I mean, that's like we're talking like love and longing and needing and human touch, and that kind of thing, where those things really can come out very strongly in the sound of a guitar.
Sure.
Is that kind of the direction you go?
Sometimes. I think as a rule, I play chords, and my method of and then I just try to find a counter melody vocally, and just kind of riff on ideas. And again, I think I get into an autopilot thing. I just kind of start, you start singing something, and you make some good sounds. I mean, I've taken some songs where I just was like, you're making unintelligible noises, and and then you're like, I like the way that, and then you just find words that, here lies. I did that with a song on a Clowns record I did. It was just, here lies, and I was like, wow, I like the way that goes up. And then I just figured out the da 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 da. You just that's how I do it. I'm sure everybody does a different way.
They have their own process,
and but yeah, it birthed out of an idea of, I think it just, because it's fun, it's therapeutic. It's fun to make those sounds. As he will attest. He's always wanted to be in a band.
If I'm so intrigued, and I want to hear all of your music.
Okay, well, let's start right now, and I'll play you every song.
Start from song 1.
Okay.
And I don't want you to play them all now.
No, we're gonna play them all.
Okay, let's start. But I want to hear them because I'm so intrigued by your creative process.
Okay.
And what your expression is by looking at your home here and your studio, and so much of who you are, I can feel.
A hermit, cluttered,
in a beautiful way.
Introvert.
In a beautiful way.
Hoarder, really.
And I'm sure that your songs and your musical expression reflects that. And so I definitely want to hear that. What about I'm looking at the guitar.
You like that guitar?
I'm thinking you're doing some rockabilly kind of.
A little bit.
Punk is rockabilly. There's some punk rockabilly in the punk scene.
Sure.
And so I can hear some rockabilly coming out of that baby.
Yeah, there was a lot of that in my first band. Sure.
Oh,
I love all that.
That's
I can
fun.
sit down and play Johnny Cash songs just to relax.
Just to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just to enjoy the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Dean, if somebody wants to take a look at your music, or the things that you create, how can they find you?
Everything is pretty much on iTunes, online. Deano Jones. I was in a band, The Clowns for Progress, the Mock Tigers. I've done a book that has a record and a couple solo type things under Deano Jones, DEANO.
Okay, is it you have it like DeanoJones.com or something?
I have that. I don't even know where it's. I'm not up on it as much as I used to be.
You are so busy here, man.
For like 10 years, 15 years, I just worked as a graphic designer on a computer all day.
Yeah.
I was ready. I was ready for the chip. I was ready for this is it, the future.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. I just got to a wall about 5 years ago, and I met Sarah, and I came out here, and she's, she was just such a breath of fresh air, a sculptor.
Yeah.
Lives out on this farm, and I was like,
she pulled you out of that.
She yanked me out.
She pulled the chip out.
Yeah, she unplugged me.
She unplugged you.
We got bees. She's like, yeah, she get some bees. I got into bees. I'm walking around and looking at, we got all those birds out here and the animals. It's just,
It's amazing.
You know, you just kind of go full circle. I've done that a lot of times. You just kind of go, oh, about face, and you go the other way. You play punk rock for a while, you play country for a while.
Yeah.
You play this the second book I've been working on for a couple of years. It's all metal. It's all like heavy metal.
Heavy metal
Vampires.
You're all over the place.
Yeah,
man.
it's, you know, I'm just like,
There's no boundaries,
it was
no
fun.
limits.
Yeah, well, why? Why, you know?
Right.
There's no reason. You can just do whatever you want. I mean, I think after you do enough things, you know, coming up as a punk rock kind of a, you know, that was my persona.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're making punk rock, you're doing these things. You realize there's a limited, you know, commercial marketability,
Sure.
and so you might entertain that in the beginning, but then you just start realizing, hey, I'm just going to do this because I like it. You know,
Right.
I like touring with the bands. I like going out on the road with the other bands and doing all that. That's why you do it. You know, you don't do it because you think you're going to make a lot of money. Or,
Right.
you know,
You do it for the joy of it.
you just do it because you don't want to work in some office. You know, you can always go back to an office.
Punk
you know?
rock is all about freedom, man. It's rebellious freedom.
And yeah, I just tried to carry that with me in other, you know, I don't have to have a mohawk or maybe a punk rocker, you know, just do what you want.
I can definitely tell that you have that spirit with this music and with the improv and the furniture you're making, the space that you have created here to allow you to just unfold so much more of your creative expression. It's just an honor for me to be in your space here.
Wow.
And Deano, I want to thank you so much for
Thank
talking
you.
to me,
Hey.
talking about your kick-ass guitar.
I'm gonna have to let you play that or something.
Man, I don't know. I think I'll probably cut my fingers in half.
Yeah, maybe.
And so I'll have the links where you can check out Deano's stuff. And thanks so much for watching, and many more to come.